Hi, my name is Joe Gilder. I've been making my living online since 2009. In the last video, I talked about how to create your first online course. That's how I've made my living, by the way. Today, we're going to talk about how to sell that course. And no, if your thoughts are, oh, you just say, hey, buy my course, not enough. That's not going to do it. There are actually 7 things that I do when I sell a course. 5 of them happen before I even sell it. So let's talk about that today. By the way, a little bit later in the video, I've got a free gift for you, so stick around. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Joe Gilder. I started a YouTube channel back in 2009 called Home Studio Corner. That grew into a 6-figure business that I still run today. And the primary way that I make money through that business is through selling courses. I teach people how to do music production, and I've created courses that I sell on how to do music production. So the bulk of my income is not from ad revenue. It's from course sales and also subscription sales, but predominantly courses. So that's what we're going to talk about today. As you can imagine, this topic of creating and selling online courses, of starting and launching an online business, it's a big topic. I could do a 4-day seminar just on this. So this video is not going to be 4 days long. I want to give you an overview and give you some actionable things that you can dive into today to get the ball rolling. So there are 7 actions that I take when I'm launching an online course. The first one is creating a lead magnet. Now, if you've never heard that phrase lead magnet before, it is pretty descriptive. It is a magnet that I use to attract leads. What are leads? Leads are people who might be interested in buying your course. Keyword there is might. How do I do this? If you've watched any of my videos, you will see me do this in every video that I put on YouTube. I give value in the forms of the content that I'm giving, but then I ask for something in return. And that something is almost always for you to sign up for my email list in exchange for a free gift. That seems old school. It seems like, oh, there must be a better way. This is, and I mentioned this in a recent video. Nobody talks about this in the YouTube space. This is how I have grown my business. Not through selling things directly on YouTube, not through ad revenue, certainly, through getting people onto my email list and then selling things directly to them. That is the purpose of the YouTube channel. Yes, the purpose is to be helpful, to be good for the world, but the business purpose of the YouTube channel is to attract leads. So I'm attracting a big audience on YouTube, hopefully, and then a portion of them I'm getting to come over to my website, enter their email address, and come into my system so that I can further relationship and sell something to them. So it's not enough to say, hey, join my email list. That might have worked 20 years ago. Not going to work today. You'll get the occasional opt-in. It doesn't work to just have your website there and expect people to come there without you telling them to do that. You've got to create something valuable for them. So this is the first big lesson you got to learn in the world of online business is everything you do with your audience on some level is a type of transaction. There's a transaction happening between you and me right now. You clicked on this video, you are still watching this video, and chances are your finger is hovering over the back button because you're looking for an excuse to move on and find something else, to find a better use of your time. You are exchanging your time in exchange for my information. If that goes well, if that transaction pays off and you get more value out of my information than you invested in time, then you're maybe going to continue watching. Maybe you'll subscribe. Maybe you'll take me up on a free offer to get onto my email list. But that only happens if I've provided more value to you than I've asked of you. That's the core of everything I do in business. So this is the first transaction. The next big transaction is I'm going to ask you to sign up for my email list in exchange for something free, something valuable. That something, A, has to actually be valuable, like a free masterclass, a free ebook, a free video course, things like that. And then I have to sell it to you. Just saying, hey, here it is, it's free, go grab it. That's not enough. We have to learn to become salespeople. That seems like a dirty word to a lot of people. If you do not want to sell, then business is not for you. But you don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to be greasy and gross. You can do it in a way that people enjoy being sold by you because you're being authentic and you're legitimately providing value for them. This is called a lead magnet. This is the beginning. This is the hinge on which the entire business swings, because if they never get on my email list, they will never buy from me. There are some exceptions, but that's the big principle at work here. Step 1 is create a lead magnet, create something valuable that they only get by signing up to your email list. Ideally, this is something like a video course or a PDF a single page checklist. This is one of my lead magnets. A more involved, this is a multiple page kind of gear guide for musicians. I've got several of them that I've created, but ideally it's a topic around which that makes sense for the course that you want to create. And it solves a very specific problem for the customer. Maybe not a huge problem, maybe just one specific problem. One of my most popular lead magnets is one about mixing. Mixing is the process where you record a bunch of tracks and then the thing you do to make them sound good. A lot of people struggle with this, so I've created a 5-step mix guide. You download it. It's a couple of pages on a PDF. You can read it quickly and you can go apply what you've learned and start getting better results. That's the idea behind the lead magnet. And by the way, I teach that 5-step process way more in depth inside my mixing course. But the first interaction is a free one. I want your email. You want my information. Let's start there. By the way, that lead magnet thing, you should create that even before you've identified what you want your course to be. When you start your YouTube channel, your first video ideally should have a call to action where you ask them to sign up for a lead magnet. If you go find the very first video on this channel, that's what I did. For a long time with Home Studio Corner, I didn't do this. I missed out on a lot of leads. All right, step number 2 to launching your course. Finish the course. This seems obvious. Stick with me for a second. There are people out there who will tell you, you don't even have to finish the course. You just have to sell it first and then create it. So you create up a bunch of buzz. You tell your email list, I'm going to come out with a course, buy it now, and I'll deliver it to you over the next 8 weeks, 12 weeks, something like that. So in that situation, you only have to create like week 1 material. Then you can go ahead and sell it, and then you'll just have to keep creating it over the next however many weeks the course lasts to fulfill on your promise. The bonus, the benefit of that is that you get paid now for something that you haven't created. So ostensibly, if no one buys it, then you didn't have to waste your time creating the course. I don't think this is a great approach. In the future, if you want to try this in the future, go for it. For me, it's worked out way better for me to have the course finished so that I can accurately describe what they're going to get out of the course, and I have it all there. Because some people want to jump in and they want to go. They will get into the course and they will finish it by the weekend. That's pretty cool. Most people won't, but it's a roadblock for people if they say, well, I'm going to pay you all the money now, but I'm only going to get a piece of it. Like, you have the solution to my problem, but you're only going to give me a piece of it, and then I have to wait a week to get the next piece of it. That feels like you're teasing me. People typically don't want to pay for that, right? We'll put up with it on a television show that puts out a new episode every week. But even then, a lot of people say, I'll just wait till it's out before I even start it. So that's the world we live in now. So my recommendation is to completely finish the course before you ever talk about it, and certainly before you ever sell it. And one of the reasons to do that is step 3, create bonuses. When my course is finished, that's great. That's the thing they're buying. But oftentimes, they'll be more excited about a bonus that you created to go with the course. Now, I know this seems like, oh, you're telling me I have to create a course on how to do something, but then I've got to create bonuses to sell with the course. Yep. If you've ever bought a course before, I bet you've seen this. We've got a course on, I'll use the mixing course of mine as an example. The course teaches you mixing inside and out, start to finish. But then there are bonuses. There's a bonus training on common mixing mistakes. It's like a standalone training that'll just give you a shot in the arm to get you moving. There is a bonus on how to be faster in mixing, specifically speed-related items. It's less about the other things we talk about in the course, and it's kind of a way to kind of shake things up and make things faster. One of the bonuses is I give them 50 plus songs to mix. My songs that I've recorded, they get all of them, the multi-tracks that they can mix and practice the skills that they learned in the course. So bonuses are nice supplements to the course. They don't have to be more of the same necessarily. A lot of times it's good if it's like in the same vein but a different tack. If it's just bonus videos and that's all you're adding, that can be valuable. But if the course is a video course and then the bonuses are just a bunch more videos, that's fine. It's a little bit of a snooze fest. So for me, another bonus with that course is I took some songs that I produced after releasing the course, and I went through and mixed those songs on camera, and now I'm including those extra mixes and those extra over-the-shoulder videos as a bonus with the course. So it's separate from the course material where I go through and mix a song. This is me doing it again on different songs, so you get more rounds in of watching me do the thing, so you're starting to learn, and it's almost like being an apprentice with me. You're watching me work, and then you go try it on your own. There's a saying in the marketing world that the bonus is really the thing that makes the sale. They may be excited about your course, but they may whip out their wallet and shell out several $100s because of a bonus that you've included. Another one that I include with my mixing course is about how to mix voiceover. So my course is completely about mixing music, making a rock song, making it sound amazing. But a lot of my customers also want to know, how do I mix spoken word, such as like a pastor's sermon or a podcast audio? Is that the same as how I would mix a vocal in a song? No, it's very different. So I created a vocal mixing blueprint. That's a bonus that you get when you buy the course. So somebody might be on the fence about the course, but then they see that bonus and they're like, okay, that's it. I gotta know how to do that. I'll buy the course to find out. Thing number 4, once you've created the course and you've created your bonuses, you're ready now to create the sales copy. You may think, what do you mean by sales copy? This is a field of study that I encourage you to dive into. It's called copywriting, how to write words that encourage people to give you money. So if your plan was to say, put a page on your website that says, hey, I made a course. It has 13 videos. It's 6 hours of content and it's this much money. Go buy it. Good luck. Nobody's going to buy that. If you have a few raving fans, they may buy it, but most people will not if you just tell them that you've created something. Big whoop, you've created something, right? What's in it for me, such that I'm going to go through the hassle of A, clicking your link, B, reading your website, C, actually going through the checkout process and giving you my money to have the thing that you're offering to me. Those are a lot of steps. That's a big ask. So you've got to make it worth it for me. That is the art of copywriting. Now, you've probably seen these before. Typically, they're these long pages with a lot of text, or it can be a video that takes you through the sales process. Either one works. I like video. I like text. I experiment with both, but both of them need copy. They need words. And it's not just a matter of you just throwing some words out there, because typically people who are new to this will write a bunch of words about what the course is and what's in it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yes, they want to know those things, but that's probably 10% of what matters when writing sales copy to sell things. The other 90% is what's in it for them. So everything you include when you're writing either an email or a web page to sell your course, you need to include everything you say must have a reason. You write a sentence, the question that comes up is, so what? What's in it for them? If you can keep that mindset, imagine they're like here with their arms folded and you say, there are 10 videos, and they'll say, so what? Who cares? You could give me 1,000 videos. If it's garbage, or if I don't know what's in it for me, that sounds like work to me. A lot of people think if I make more videos, it'll be more valuable. Not necessarily. If you have the means to solve my problem in 30 minutes, but you take 30 hours to do it, I'm going to be pissed off, right? Because you could have just solved it in 30. So length of the course doesn't matter. Typically, my courses are anywhere from 10 to 13 hours to as many as, I think I have one that's like 60 plus videos, and it's over like 20 hours. Not because I just wanted to make it long, but because that was me going through the entire production process on a song, actually the same song 3 different times. And that was the best way to teach that concept. It's a lot. So we have to really sell them on not how many videos are included, because that might actually be a turnoff. I rarely even talk about that, or it'll just be a little blip on like the FAQ section of the sales page. But the big thing I'm focused on is what's in it for them. Specifically, how is their life going to be improved or even transformed as a result of this? So there's a couple things to keep in mind. I encourage you to become a student of copywriting. I recently took John Carlton's copywriting course. It's like less than $100. Go Google it. You'll find it. It was super helpful. I printed the whole thing out. It's in this huge file folder, and I've highlighted the crap out of it because it's been really helpful for me. But there are a couple of things to think about when writing sales copy. There are a couple different models you can use. One is AIDA, which stands for attention, interest, desire, action. So you get their attention with a good headline. You make sure they're interested, that you're talking to the right person. You rouse their desire for a solution to their problem, and then you ask them to take action. That's a little bit on the wimpier side. Another one that's maybe a little more effective, or one that I like a little more, is problem, agitate, solution. So you propose a problem that they have, then you agitate the problem, you remind them how bad the problem is and how much they probably want to solve this problem, and then you offer your solution. Another option that I learned from Russell Brunson is a hero story offer, where you introduce a hero. Maybe it's your ideal client or yourself in the past as you were trying to learn this skill that you're learning. You tell the story of how you learned it, and then you offer your solution. Hey, it took me 20 years to learn how to do this. I can teach you how to do it in a weekend inside this course. That kind of thing. But the goal with all of this is to focus 10% on you and the course itself and the specifics, 90% on them and how their life will look different afterwards. All right, thing number 5, we've got our course, we've got our bonuses, we've got our lead magnet, we've got our sales copy written. What next? We're going to do what's called a pre-launch. I learned this from Jeff Walker. His product launch formula is epic. His book is fantastic. If you haven't checked that out, the course is like $2,000. The book is the price of a book, worth checking out. But pre-launch is basically just let's build up some buzz for this course that's coming out. I've made this mistake of creating the course and I'm impatient and I just shoot out an email and say, hey, got a new course, go check it out. And that works. People will buy it, but you'll get a bigger rush of customers if you build up a little bit of buzz, right? The idea of if you go see a movie, chances are you didn't just hear about it the day that you went to see it. Chances are, for some movies, you'll see a trailer 6 months ago. The movie's finally out. You've been anticipating it for so long. You're much more likely to go because you've been invested on some level emotionally in seeing this movie from 6 months ago. Now, we don't have to do a whole 6-month process. For me, I like to do a week or less, but just a few days of offering something for free to give them value, to see who's interested, and to also tease the idea that there's a course coming. So my favorite thing to do is to offer some sort of a short 1 to 3 part masterclass that I offer as a part of launching this new course. So ideally, if it's a course, one of the ways I did this, the course on mixing, I did a 3-part EQ masterclass where I dove deep into this specific tool that we use in mixing and how it works and how to get better results with it. It is helpful. It is valuable. It's much like a lead magnet. It is a lead magnet, but it also gets them excited about mixing and saying, man, if this is how great he was able to help me with just this one specific piece of the process, imagine how great his whole course must be. So you may think, oh, okay, so you told me I have to make a lead magnet and then I have to make a course and then I have to make bonuses and now I have to make another free thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, this free thing could be the lead magnet. Sometimes what I do with a new course is I create a new lead magnet that I use during this pre-launch. And then I have it available to just get people on my email list in the future. A couple examples of the ones I've done. There was that EQ masterclass. I repeated that process with a compression masterclass. That's another tool that dives deep into compression, gives them specific ways to use it, but it obviously doesn't solve all of their problems because they still need to learn the bigger picture process of mixing, which I teach inside my course. Another one, I have a songwriting course, and one of the bonuses I created for that course, you're going to like this. I created a bonus talking about this 50-song challenge that I gave myself. So this was a bonus that I created for the course that walked through this. I gave myself a challenge to write 50 songs in 12 weeks. This was years and years and years ago, but it changed my life quite literally from a songwriting standpoint. So I documented that whole process because it was fascinating to me and people love that video. Well, I decided to turn that bonus into a lead magnet as well. So you buy the course, you get this video, but I also, for people who, when I was launching the course, I said, hey, I've got a new course coming out. Here's a bonus video from the course that I'm letting you have for free. So you're letting them sneak in, giving them value for being on your email list. They get to watch that. It's a very interesting story that gets them excited about songwriting. They learn a thing or two and they think, man, I want to see what else this guy can teach me and how he can transform my own songwriting. So it can be, you can double dip sometimes with these things. The lamest version of this is you give them a few emails with good information leading up to the launch of the course. I've done this. It's the easiest way to do it. So like a pre-launch is a few days before the doors open and they can buy the thing. Typically, I use some sort of video course, video masterclass type thing that they get. I've done it where I just send them emails that are helpful and interesting. It's okay. I find that giving them something more valuable tends to get a better response, which makes sense. Remember how on step 1 I talked about using a lead magnet? Well, now here I'm going to promote my lead magnet to you. When I looked at the way I've run my business over the last 15 years, I noticed there's a 4-part cycle that I go through when the business is running really well. And those 4 parts are give, ask, measure, EDIT, which spells out game plan. I've created a free masterclass that teaches that whole concept to you and how you can apply it to your business to help you know, okay, I'm stuck. What do I do next? I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do next. What do I do next? This process is a compass that points you and tells you exactly what to do next. It has been just even uncovering this and realizing this is what I do has been really invaluable for me as I continue to run my business, continue to bump up against frustrations and things not working the way I want them to. This process ensures that I learn from those things and that I know which direction to head next. You can have this for free. Just go to joegilder.biz/game to grab it. Thing number 6, the actual launch. This is the thing people thought I was going to talk about at the very beginning, but there's a lot more involved. That's kind of like real life. I want to do this really valuable thing. Well, there's some prep work that you have to do, right? That makes sense. Maybe we don't like it, but it's true. So when it comes to launching the course, I've done the pre-launch, which is anywhere from 3 days to a week, where I've given them free information. I've sent them emails about it. I've talked about this course is coming. It's opening up on Monday at 8 a.m. Can't wait for you to see it. Then the day comes. So I like to do a 5-day launch, typically open on a Monday or a Tuesday, closing down on a Friday or a Saturday at midnight. Now, by closing down, I just mean you can open the course and then close it down to where no one can buy it. That can work. It's a little bit of a fake news situation because there's no real reason for you to close it down other than to get people to buy. I've done it and it works. The idea being we're all going to work through this material together and you'll have another chance to buy later, but now's your chance to get in. What I like to do typically is offer some sort of introductory discount. So if my course is $300, I'll offer you can get it now this week only for $150, 50% off. And I'll typically have a 5-day launch with that discount applied, and then the discount goes away on Friday night at midnight, Saturday night at midnight. Then the course is still available. Stragglers can come in and they can buy it later at full price, but I've given them a reason to buy now. So all the stuff we talked about in copywriting, that still applies, but to get the best results and to get the biggest bump in income, I've always used a deadline when doing launches and promotions because it works. You'll find it's this fun phenomenon. You'll have a good bunch of people buy on the first day, then it'll trail off. You'll have some bumps in the middle, and then the last day, huge numbers of people will buy up until like the last hour because human nature being what it is, we intend to do things, but we tend to put it off. So here's how that's going to work. 5 days, you're going to send an email every day talking about different ways that this course will help them, telling them stories about transformations that happen to people that you know or yourself, reasons why they should join the course, why it's actually a great deal and worth many times more the money that you're asking. So if you're selling it for $300, it's really worth $3,000, and here's why. And that needs to be true and valuable. If it's not true, then you got some work to do. Go back, make a better course, create better bonuses that get it up to the level of being actually worth way more than what they're paying. But then in addition to all of those good things, you're saying, and there's a discount, and that discount expires. Deadlines work. It's just the truth. So I always use them in my promotion. You don't have to necessarily use a discount, but a discount plus a deadline is a pretty deadly combination. On the final day of the launch, day 5 or 6, you're going to want to send 2 to 3 emails on that day. And the idea here is just, these are quick reminders. You may think, oh, I don't want to spam anybody. Get over it. You are a business. Businesses sell. If they don't want to hear from you, they can unsubscribe, and that's great. Guess what happens when they unsubscribe? They were never going to buy. They clicked unsubscribe instead of buy. We don't have any hard feelings toward them. We don't say like, yeah, never come back. We just know that this game goes like this. I provide value to hopefully hundreds of thousands of people on YouTube, and then hopefully thousands of them sign up to my email list, and then hopefully hundreds of those people buy my courses. That's the way this thing fleshes out, which means if 4% of your email list buy your course, that means 96% said no. Guess what? That's cool. That's fine. That means your emails did not apply to the majority of the people on your list. That's okay. This is called direct response marketing. That's the name of the game. You send an offer to a lot of people and a percentage of them will buy. But what happens is people get scared to email, and so they just send a few reminders and they're timid about the whole thing versus being like, hey, this is a business. This is a great deal for you. You're about to miss out. Check it out. So on that final day, I may send one normal email in the morning. Then I'll send 2 just quick reminder emails. Graham Cochran, great advice. Just use the whole courtesy reminder in the subject line. Courtesy reminder, this ends today. And just quick 1-sentence thing saying, hey, I know you're busy. Just so you know, I launched a new course. You can find out the details here. It's on sale for 50% off. Click here to check it out now. Offer ends tonight at midnight. It's simple. It's easy. It is legitimately actually a courtesy reminder. If they don't want to buy, that's fine. They can unsubscribe. They can delete the email. It's not the end of the world because you have provided so much value to them up to this point that, of course, it makes sense that now you're asking. That's back to that game plan I talked about. We've given value. Now we're asking for something in return. That's the way the world works, and it's okay. In the final step, once the launch is over, you do what I call a postmortem, which isn't the best description, but you take a look at how did this work? You look at the numbers. How many leads did I have? How many people bought? What percentage of people bought? Which price point did they buy at? If you had a regular version and an advanced version that gets them extra bonuses or extra feedback from you or a bundle of other courses, what did they buy? How many did they buy? How did things shake down? Was it success? Was it what you expected? Was it way not what you expected? And then we learn from those. So you take that data. This is the last 2 steps of the game plan, by the way. GAME, measure and edit. We measure things, important numbers, and then we edit what we're doing to adjust for the future. So we learn from what just happened. I've had, just to be completely candid with you, I've had a number of promotions that I've done this year in my business that have not worked out the way I thought they would. Either just the idea didn't hit, or the promotion didn't work, or the pricing wasn't quite right. And every time that happens, a part of me wants to say, screw it, let's just quit. Or a part of me wants to say, well, it's fine, I'll just ignore it and I'll move on. But the healthy part of me will say, all right, let's look at it. Let's look at the numbers and let's say, okay, this happened. Why was that number so bad? What can we attribute to that? And you may not be able to tell for sure, but you can get clues as to why something worked or why something didn't. So you're going to do this after successful launches. You're going to do this after unsuccessful launches because there's something to learn either way. Wow, this did way better than I expected. Why? And then you make some educated guesses as to why that happened. And then you take those learnings and you apply them to the next time you promote this course or the next course that you create or just the way that you run your business in general or the pricing that you use. There's lots of things you can learn from doing this. If you skip out on this step, then you'll never continue to improve. Because if you did great, you'll think, great, I'm awesome. But if you don't learn from that, you could do even better the next time and the next time and the next time. If it was terrible, you need to learn even more, right? Because you got to figure out how to correct the ship. And it could be that it was a course nobody wanted. It could be that you didn't sell it well enough. You talked all about you and your course rather than them and their transformation. It could be that you didn't send enough emails. It could be that you were too timid. Could be nobody clicked your emails because they weren't that valuable and they weren't that interesting and you kind of bored them to death. So why would they click over and check out your course? Could be any number of reasons. But if you don't do the work of analyzing what happened and making some educated guesses as to why it happened, you won't grow. Final thing, I've mentioned this a couple times in this video, but I want to say it here because it makes so much sense. It's kind of a bonus tip. The whole goal, the thing that you are selling to your customers is transformation, not improvement, not a slightly better life. You are transforming their lives through the thing that you're giving them. And if you don't believe that, then you're not ready. The thing is not good enough. You've got to create something that their life will be different, right? I sell courses on making music and music production. When they take my mixing course, I want their mixes to be forever changed. I want this moment in time when they buy this course to be a pivot point where they go from, wow, this sucks to, wow, this is amazing because of what I teach them. If you don't have that transformation to offer, you got to find it. That may be one of the reasons why if you launch something and it didn't sell, you have not provided transformation. You've provided maybe interesting information. You've provided a way to improve a little bit. Nobody buys something to make their life a little bit better. They buy something with the promise of it changing everything. And I'm not talking about using hyperbole and lying. Legitimately, when you apply the things that I teach, you make better music. But if I just say, oh, your music will be a little bit better, that doesn't get to the heart of it. Your music being better is a complete transformation. If my mixes are better than they were, I'm going to be more likely to make more music, I'm going to release more music, and I'm going to get better at the whole process, all because Joe Gilder taught me how to mix. That's transformation. And you got to frame things in that way. So when we're talking about copywriting, it's how's their life going to be completely different moving forward because they did business with you. And if you don't think there is an improvement for them to have, if you don't think, I even said it there, improvement, if you don't see how their life will be forever changed by buying what you're selling, well, then we got to fix that. And all the other stuff we talked about in this video is irrelevant if the thing you're selling doesn't actually transform their lives. That's kind of a given that a lot of people don't talk about. It needs to be actual transformational value. If it's not, then everything else is like putting lipstick on a pig. We got to make sure it is transformative. And if that's the case, all the other stuff we talked about in this video makes sense. Okay, that's a wrap on this video. If you're new and you haven't seen this video on how I make $25K a month on YouTube, it's worth a watch. Thanks for watching. See ya.